Balden Zave Lama Rimbochin, Dagi Jiwa Petition, Akatin Jimaponages. Kosondo Kimoto Santo, so Janju Simju Rimbochi, Makepanam Kikuchi, Kepanyamba, Kone Kondo Pella, show Simjanam Kisambatan, Lois Chetachita, what you do to Mot. Chugi Kolo Kordo, so Tashidelek everyone. And seems like today will be the last session of the Torch of Certainty. And till now, we have already gone through with the Mondo part, and we have already talked on the general Mondo, and then we have already talked on the special Mondo. And then today, we will be talking on the actual practice. So I received this teaching from our very venerable Thrangu, and I also received this teaching from our retreat master Chubekim Rinpoche when I was in retreat. And when I was in retreat, what Khenpo Rinpoche did was we received the teaching on the Mondo part before we did our Mondo. So he taught us all this text before we started our Mondo. And then he stopped here. And after this, all this actual practice, he didn't teach us when we were doing the Mondo. So he only taught this text after we have completed our Mondo, and then we have completed our Marpa Guru Yoga, Milarepa Guru Yoga, Kambaba Guru Yoga, Kamapakshi Guru Yoga, and all this. So because this is the main practice, and if you haven't done the Mondo practice, then it's not so suitable for us to listen to. But since we are going through with the text, if I just leave it here, then it's little unfulfilling or something like that. And I think it's not a good idea. But we can go through the text, but I don't think I should be talking in so much detail about all this main practice, because since the talk that I'm giving here will be on the net, and then there will be so many students. Yeah, I hope there will be quite a lot of people who will be listening to this, or maybe not, but there will be some people who have not started the Mondo yet, or who have not finished the Mondo yet. And sometimes there might be some people who don't have so much faith in the Dharma also. And then if I teach this in a very public place, I don't think it's going to be so good. And it is like selling the Dharma, I guess. So I don't think it's a good idea to teach on this in Dharma. And I think that's a very good way to say that, because actually, I really don't think I am also capable of being able to teach this text, especially the actual practice. I was able to practice this, and because of the blessing of Rinpoche and Khenpo Rinpoche, I was able to give some of my time to practice this. And when I was retreat, I was able to pretend that I was practicing this practice, or I was pretending that I was practicing Mahamudra practice and Vajrayogini practice and all these practices, but I think I was just pretending, or maybe just imitating, or maybe just imitating the words that were said in the text and something like that. And in the text also, it is said that when someone who is not very intelligent, or when someone is foolish, and if he or she is practicing Mahamudra, then he will be born in the animal realm. So I think I am one of those who was, or who is not that intelligent to be able to practice Mahamudra. And since I'm not able to practice Mahamudra, I don't think I am capable of giving this teaching. But since we already have the text and we have to go through this text and we have to finish this text, so it might also be improper uh, if I just stop it here. So I do, even if I don't know anything about Mahamudra, I still have to pretend and I have to give some talk on this actual practice. And when we are receiving this practice, I think it would be very beneficial for all of you to receive someone, to receive this teaching from someone uh, who is able to teach you in a much proper way, who was able to spend more time in practicing and something like that. And someone like me, I don't think I am capable, and it's not only I think, I'm pretty sure I'm not capable to able to teach. But since I have already received this teaching and I have some blessing from the great masters, because I've received teaching from them, so I have to like just say something on this actual practice. And then when we are practicing this, it should not be only from the text, because if we just follow the text, then we might be able to understand it uh, only from the outside, not from within. So it's not going to help so much, because sometimes what we do is people, they read so many books and then they think they have understood what is Mahamudra. And then when we are talking about it, it's quite easy to say, because we can just say Mahamudra, or it's natural state of mind. You don't think about anything. You don't remember your past activities. You don't think about your future activities. You just be in your present time. And like that, you don't have so much attachment to your past and future. Just be in your present uh, moment, or the very ordinary state of mind. Just be in that, like that. So when you are saying, it's very easy to say. But when we are practicing, then it is quite difficult. And that is why it is said that if someone who is foolish practice, then he or she will be born in the animal realm, because they think they are practicing, but in actual they are not practicing. They just think that, oh, I'm not thinking, or something like that. So it is very important for any of you who wants to practice to uh, receive or to have the guidance from someone who is much more capable than me. And then when we are doing the practice here in the actual practice, we have like two different parts. We have the shamatha practice, and then we have the vipassana practice. Like in Tibetan, we say the shine practice and the lakdong practice. So they are like two practice. And then when we are talking about the shamatha practice, so we say that the posture of your body is extremely important, because if your posture is not well, then your mind, it is going to affect your mind. Because when you have like a small cut, then because of the cut, then sometimes you feel depressed. Sometimes when you have headache, it's the body is having headache, but because of that headache, you have some mental pressure. So just like that, the body and our mind is very related. So if something happens to body, then our mind gets affected, and if our mind gets affected, then our body also get affected. So it is very important to have um, the uh, instruction on the posture of our body. So just like when you are an athlete, or if you are a swimmer, there are so many postures that you need to follow. And of course, sometimes they are like great athletes or swimmers once in a while whose postures are not so good, but that's very, very rare. But in most of the cases, the postures need to be perfect. Like even if you are an athlete, because before when you run, the way you squat. I'm not so sure if you can say squat or something when you kneel down, and when you start to run. When you run, there are so many postures that you need to follow. And even if you're a swimmer, there are so many postures that you need to follow. And if you can follow that, most of them, the better their postures, they end up being much better athletes or better swimmers. So just like that, even here when we are practicing the shamatha practice, it is very important for us to follow the postures of our body. And then the first one is we should cross our leg. And sometimes people might think that the postures are not so important, but it's not like that. Almost all the great masters who have realized their true nature of our mind and who have gained enlightenment, if you see their pictures, most of them are like sitting in this position. And because of this position, they were able to uh, benefit, or they were able to uh, mm, gain more uh, wisdom when they were practicing. So it is very important for us to follow the postures of the body. And the first one is when you are sitting, you have to sit cross-legged. And sometimes you can sit like in the Vajra posture, and sometimes if you are not able to sit like this, then you can like the normal. When you are sitting the cross-leg, you can also do that. It's not going to be of much difference, so it is very important. And then the second one is here. Uh, Sometimes it is written like you can put it on the knees, or you can just like do like this and keep it here. Sometimes both of them are written, but here it's more like you should place your hand on one palm of the other, and then like around like 4 inches down from your navel, you should place your two hands, and your back should be like little straight when you are meditating, because sometimes when we are sitting like this, then you get a little lazy. You want to like move here, move there, and your mind doesn't become so sharp. So it's very important when you are doing the meditation, your back should be very straight when you are meditating. And then the fourth one, your shoulders should be like little broad. You should keep it like little open, I guess. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, and not too much like crooked or too much bent. So like little bit open. And then the fifth one, and your chin should be little on the lower side, not very low, but just like little low. And then you might not notice it, but usually when we are like just staying like this, our tongue is touching on the upper part of our mouth, on the upper part. So even when you are doing the practice, you should keep your tongue like that, because we say that if it is touching on the upper part, then you will have less saliva. And when we are practicing, the more saliva that we have, so we will be swallowing it or maybe throwing it out, then it disturbs your practice. So the rhythm will be broken. So that is why if we just touch the upper part of our mouth with our tongue, then it is going to help you have less saliva, and then so you can concentrate more. And then your eyes, because sometimes people say when you are meditating, then your eyes should be closed, but it shouldn't be closed when you are practicing, because your eyes should be like looking at like little lower, like around your tip of your nose, or something like maybe around something like here, 8 fingers gap, so something like here. You can just look at that, and then you try to meditate. So, and when you are meditating, just like I said before, so when you are teaching, it's quite easy to say, don't think about your future, don't think about your past, just be in your present moment, and just look at your nature of your mind. It's quite easy to say. Don't get distracted, something like that. So it's quite easy to say. And I think I will also just say that, even if I don't have any actual practice, but I think I can just say that. And then when we are practicing, there are so many ways we can improve our shamatha practice. And if you look at more detailed text, then there are so many different ways where we can practice. But here it's like is said that it is like given like two ways where we can how we can practice uh, shamatha practice. And the first one is where you are meditating. So in front of you, you place one statue, uh, or you can just place one picture of Buddha. So you just place it in front of you, and then you just look at it, and you just concentrate on that. And then you just look at it, and then you try not to think about anything else, something like that. So you just look at it again and again and be aware that you are looking at it. And the second one is meditating upon the breath. So when you are doing the shamatha practice, you count your breath. So when you are breathing in, and when the breath stays in, and then when you breathe out, you count that as one, and you be aware that I've taken one breath. And then again, and when you sometimes what people do is when they are meditating and when they are in normal, the way they breathe is very different. So when they are meditating, it's like they are forcing the breath on in, out, in, out. It's not like that. So when you are meditating also, so the breath should be like very normal. How you breathe in your daily life, very, very normal. So just like that, even when you're practicing, you just take your very normal breath and then you count. So you should count when you're breathing in, when you're breathing out, count one, something like that. So like these two are the main practices of shamatha practice. Because what we say is, because when we are practicing, we are trying to look at the nature of our mind. And sometimes, like for an example, when the water is like little not so clean, or if the water is shaking, then you cannot see what's inside the water properly. But if you just keep it aside, and then if you just keep it like that, and if you don't stir it or move it, and if you just place it like that, and if it just stands there still for a while, then all the dust particles will go down. And then if you look at it, then you will be able to see properly. So even if there is like image or of the moon on the water, if the water is like moving or shaking, then you cannot see the image of the moon on the water, the reflection of the moon. But if the water is very stable, if the water is very still, or if the water is very calm, then you can see the image of the moon or the reflection of the moon in the water very properly. So just like that, we need to have our mind very stable, mind very calm. And for that, we practice shamatha practice. And these are like the two practices which we can do to improve our shamatha practices. And the other thing is when you are doing this practice, even in one session, you have to break that one session into so many different sessions. And the mistake that people commit is when they are doing 1 hour of session of shamatha practice, so they will just from the beginning, from the end, they will just do continuously 1 hour. But that's not going to help because our mind is very easy to get distracted. We will think of so many things. We will think about past, we will think about future, we will think what we are going to eat, what we are going to wear tomorrow, when I'm going to buy this, when I'm going to buy that, or something like that. And then that is very distracting for us, and we will not know that we have been distracted. And by the time you remember, oh, I shouldn't be distracted, or I should be practicing, then you will already be uh, done with maybe half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, maybe 50 minutes sometimes, or maybe all. You will only be like aware only when the 1 hour ends. So it is very waste of time. So what we need to do is, even if we are like doing only 1 hour practice, we should break that 1 hour into as many different sessions as we can. We can just do very short session, like we do like few seconds, maybe 30 seconds, and then rest maybe 30 seconds or maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then again we try to do 30 seconds or something like that. Or if you think 30 seconds is too less, then maybe do like 1 minute, and then rest for 2-3 minutes, and then I can do meditation for 1 minute, and then I can rest. So like that. So if you do like that, even if you do like 1 hour meditation, 1 minute meditation, and then 2 minute break, and then again 1 minute meditation and 2 minute break. If you add up all this 1 minute, so in 1 hour you will be able to do maybe I think 20 minutes. My math is very, very bad, so if it's mistake, then I'm very sorry. But I think it's going to be like 20 minutes, I guess. 20 minutes will be very good in 1 hour, and that is like quite good percentage, almost 33 percentage of your total time. But if you do like 1 hour at a stretch, and then in the beginning you might be little away, and then you will just think of something, and then it will go on and then on, and then maybe you have only done like maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes of meditation, and by the end, when you are aware or when you remember, your 1 hour will already be done. So it's not going to be of much help. So that is why it's very important to have as many short sessions as you can in that one big session. So that is like one of the main instruction given when we are starting to practice, and it is very important that we follow that. Sometimes people think that, oh, I've been practicing for so long, I don't need to do that. I can do 15 minutes, I can do half an hour, I can do 1 hour, and we shouldn't be thinking like that. We should break it as short as we can. And then sometimes what other people say is it's very easy to do this practice. You can do this when you are eating, when you can do this, you can do this when you are walking, when you are driving, when you are like anything. But it's not that you cannot do that, but I think it's quite difficult for us because if you cannot walk properly, then it's almost impossible to run. So just like that, for us, we are just beginners. No matter how many years we think we have practiced, we haven't practiced much. We are just like a newborn baby in the practice. So, and if you just check yourself properly when you are sitting and when you are following these 7 postures of the body, like I told you before, all these are there. And then if you meditate and if you check properly, you will know that you get distracted so much, and you will be able to know that being away is very, very difficult. It's almost impossible. But if you say that, oh, I can still practice when you are walking, when you are going to the office, when you are driving, when you are playing or something like that, then that is quite, I think it's quite impossible. It's like saying I cannot walk, but I can run. So it's almost like that. So it is very important to uh, follow the 7 postures. So whenever you are able to do that, you should do that. And then after that, then maybe when you are walking, when you are eating, when you are sleeping, then maybe you can try. But right at the beginning, sometimes people think that they can do this, and then they never sit and practice. They are always like, oh, I practice all the time. I practice when I'm going to the office. I practice when I'm coming back to home. I practice when I'm eating, something like that. But I don't think it's that easy to practice, because if it was that easy, then there would be so many people who will be enlightened. And those people who are enlightened, we shouldn't be like cheering them, or we shouldn't be amazed with them, because getting enlightened is very easy if somebody says like that, but it is not. It is quite difficult to be, or to know the nature of your mind, or to see the mind, or something like that, or to know the Mahamudra like that. And it is quite difficult, and then we should not be taking it so easy. So we should be trying to do as much as we can in very short session, many short sessions. Then we try to follow the steps of the body and like that. And then sometimes people say that you should only receive teaching from one Lama, but I don't think it's also like that. And even here it says like that. Because if you think someone is quite capable, someone is able to give teachings, if someone seems like they are practicing what they preach, even if not all, but like little, or if someone who is not so attached to like sitting position, not, I don't mean like the sitting position of this 7 postures, but like when you are having like a gathering, when you are puja, when there is a teaching. So sometimes you see some of them are very attached to the seat where they will be sitting, and that is also a sign of a pride. That's a big sign of pride. And if someone is attached to where they are sitting, the biggest throne, the best seat, or something like that, then it means that they are not well practiced in what they are practicing. So you should also check like that. And if someone is a teacher, they should not be so much attached to all this, like position where they are sitting during the puja, where they will be sitting or something like that. So you should check a little. But if someone is like little educated, or if they practice a little of what they preach, then you should receive teaching from them. You try to receive as many teaching from different masters. So it's very, very helpful. And it's not like you can only receive teaching from one master. So even Khenpo, he received teaching from so many masters. It was not only Milarepa that taught Khenpo, so he did receive teaching from so many masters. And even if you see the story of all these masters, you will see that there were so many teachers for them, but there might be only one root guru, but it's not like they didn't have any other guru. They all had so many gurus. Even Marba, when he went to India, he received teaching from so many different gurus. So it is very important to receive teaching from many other gurus. But you can have your own root guru, but obviously you still need to receive teaching from other gurus who are very learned, who are very respected, who can teach very well, and who also practice what he teaches or something like that. So you should be uh, receiving teaching from them. And the other benefit is because we don't know with whom we have the karmic connection. So sometimes we might think that we have karmic connection with this guru, but it may not be like that. We never know. So if we like receive teaching from few teachers, then we might be with the one we are uh, connected with karmically. So that also helps. So it is very important to follow this. And then sometimes what happens is people think since we should be practicing, they don't listen to the teaching much. They don't receive teaching. They don't read much. They just think that, oh, I should practice. And if it is like that, then that is also not very helpful. So first you do need to have instruction, and then you need to practice. So if you don't uh, have any teachings, then if you practice, it's not going to be of much benefit. So you need to have practice, and then you receive, and then you practice. And even if you look at all the biographies, you will always end up seeing a teacher for no matter whose biographies you read in Buddhism. So they all had teachers. So it's very, very important to have a teacher, and you should follow his teachings. And then you practice. And sometimes when you read too much, then again, if you don't put it into practice, it might make you feel that, oh, I'm very learned, I'm very educated, I don't need to receive teaching. But instead of helping you, because if you are practicing the Dharma, the result should be like it should be helping you decrease your negative emotions. It should be helping you decrease your uh, negativity of your body, negativity of your speech, and negativity of your mind. But sometimes when people they receive so many teachings, and instead of all this negative emotions getting less, it becomes more and more. They think they are very learned, they think they are very, very educated, and even if when sometimes there is a teacher coming at your place, whether it is a monastery or center or home, when there is a monk coming or when there's a teacher coming, they act like they know much better than these teachers. And it shows that the teaching that they received wasn't of much help to them. The only thing that the teaching that they received did was make him or her more proud. So if you are more proud after receiving more teaching, then it is not helping at you all. So it is instead of helping, it is harming you. So you should check that when after you receive teaching, whether it is helping you or whether it is harming you, and only you can be the judge of that. So it is very important that you check yourself regularly again and again, and you receive teaching, and then after you receive teaching, and then you practice, and then only you will be able to have more benefit from all these teachings. So I think I talked something which are not like very step by step, but I think you'll be able to understand what's more important. So the main thing is after the Kongtrul, it is the actual practice, and then in actual practice we have the shamatha and vipassana. And for shamatha we do the practice of the breath meditation, or we can do practice on image of Buddha. So we can do that, and then after that, then we do the vipassana practice. And for vipassana practice, as I said before, I am very, very uncapable. Sometimes when Buddhist teachers, when they are teaching, and like the great masters, like even when Karmapa is teaching, or when our Rinpoche is teaching, even my retreat master, when he is teaching, they say that, oh, they say that they are not learned, they are not capable of teaching. But when they are saying because of their own humility. They know everything. They are so learned. They know how to meditate. They have received so many teachings. They have practiced for so long. But because they don't have any pride within them, so that is why they say, oh, I don't know anything. And I'm not capable of teaching. That is why I'm not going to teach you or something like that. But when I'm saying it's very different, it's not like that. I know, and then I'm saying I don't know. It's not like that. When I am saying I'm not capable of teaching this vipassana practice, then I'm not like saying because of my humility. I'm saying because I really don't know anything about this vipassana practice or Mahamudra practice. So that is why I am saying what is the truth. And it's not like I'm hiding my knowledge or something. It's just as I don't know. And I know that I don't know. And I think that is also like little good, mm, at least because I know that I don't know. And sometimes when people they don't know, they think that they know. And I think at least I'm a little better than that. I know that I don't know. And I think if I am able to keep on more practice, then I might be able to know something because whatever teaching that should be received, I should receive teachings. I've received so many teachings from our root guru, Khenpo Thakur, and then again after that, I received so many teachings when I was in retreat from Rinpoche. So I was very lucky. I was very fortunate that I was able to receive all these teachings from them. But because of my own laziness, because of my own mm, not having any intelligence, I was not able to practice all these teachings. And because I get distracted so easily, and I cannot put so much of my effort, so I was not able to uh, gain much realization or something like that. That is why I don't think I'm capable of teaching this. And I'm very sorry that I am not able to say much about Vipassana practice. And if you are able to, then after you are done with your Monto, then you should receive all this teaching from someone who is much more and who is not who is there. Most of the monks are much more uh, well practiced in these practices than me. So I think it would be much better if you practice from them. And I think that's it. And I think we will stop here for today. And then during these few sessions of teachings, when I am teaching, so sometimes I do feel a little proud when I'm giving teachings. My intention sometimes it's not so pure. Sometimes I do feel a little lazy when I'm teaching. Sometimes I feel a little irritated when I'm teaching. And these are all signs of not being a very good teacher. And when you are not a good student, then obviously you're not going to be a good teacher. So there were so many mistakes that I did from my mental aspect. So because of all this laziness, all this irritation, so many sometimes because of the pride that I'm teaching. And sometimes maybe they are like great and all this. So there were so many mistakes from my mental part. And then even when I'm teaching, I'm sure there were so many mistakes that I've said, so many things that was not supposed to be said. And then maybe I've told, sometimes I might have said something that is extremely wrong or something because of my ignorance. So even that, there are so many mistakes that I've committed knowingly and unknowingly. And I'm very sorry for that. And I should say sorry for that to all of you. But even with all these mistakes, the teachings that I gave has lots of blessing from all these lineage masters, and especially from Kinjal Thampa Rinpoche and Topden Rinpoche. So we did gain at least some merit from these teachings that I was able to share with you. So there are some merit, and with even if it is not, we did gain a little amount of merit. So I think it should be dedicated to all the sentient beings, that whatever merit that we have gained from these few days of teaching, and especially I think we should dedicate this merit to all the sentient beings in general, and in particular this year we had so many difficulties, no matter where you are living. Because of this pandemic, we had so much difficulties, and since we are going into the next year. So maybe when we will be uploading this video, maybe it will already be a new year. So even if it is like a new year already, uh, like Chinese and Tibetan New Year, then we should dedicate that may all the suffering of pandemic may be over, and may this year be much better than the last one, and all of us have a very uh, good life, as said in all this text, to may be able to give more time in practicing and listening teaching. And I think that's all for today. And thank you all for listening. And if by mistake, if I have said something wrong, then I'm very sorry to all of you. So we will stop here for this teaching. And at the end, we will do dedication prayer. Okay, thank you. Dembe Pakyo, Gamalo Desham, Chubel Sambo, Den Kaka, Pejin Jabeta, then she took it to Chule Nanga Palba, Show Sonam de Tamji Sibani, Tomni Betana Pamje, Kega Nachi Balap Tubai, Sibe Soleto, Tulwa, Show.